talking about map dowsing and water dowsing, two subjects that are usually taught in a day or two. So we're going to cram it in. And if you get a little lost, it's okay. Just listen and follow on, because this is an immediate dowsing class. And this is April 19th, 2026. That's for all you people out there. So, how many of you douse already on a regular basis? All right, you probably will have no trouble with this. How many of you douse now and then? Okay, well, pay attention. Map dowsing is, as I said, it's not really for beginners. It's called an intermediate or advanced dowsing. And if you were doing this class in ASD, it would cost you $380 for map dowsing and $380 for water dowsing. You can go online and look that up, and that's how much they're charging this year. So this is a very valuable class, because once you learn this, you can find anything, anywhere in the whole world, believe it or not, because all is energy and vibration. Now, those who are new, the history of dowsing is long. It is ancient. They have found tools in the Egyptian tombs. They have been dowsing forever. When they came to the New World, of course, they brought their dowsers. When Moses went into the desert, he was a dowser. He had a rod and a staff, and we know he walked with the staff. What did he do with the rod? He found the water, came out of the rock. Remember, he hit the rock? That's what it was. And he did all his magic things with, not the staff, the rod. So dowsing is a quest for finding anything that your mind can conjure up to ask. The answers are all out there. It's just a matter of you tuning into the right vibration to get the right answer. Let's look at the lie detector test. They have you all hitched up to these probes, and they ask questions, and your muscles react when you lie. Unless you've had a lot of training how not to move your anyway, and so that's how they pick up that. The same thing when you tune into a certain vibration and ask a question, your muscles are the ones that give you the answer. The tools are only tools. Thank you, they're only tools that pick up the answer. If I spilt coffee all over the floor, I'm going to have to get a broom and clean that up. It's not going to just go in the wastebasket. That's a tool. And it takes someone to use the tool. It takes you, and you're using your rods or your pendulums. In water dowsing, to find location, I use the L rods. But to find how deep it is, how many feet, how many gallons per minute, if it's willing to be a source for this family, I use the pendulum. Pendulum is more for informational dowsing. All right, now to prepare for dowsing, you really need to quiet the mind. Every one of us has a monkey mind, whether you believe it or not. Monkey mind keeps thinking thousands of thoughts per minute, even when you're not conscious of it. It's just on and on, thinking thoughts and thinking thoughts. Sometimes you wish you could stop it. Well, you need to learn how to stop all those thoughts before you can quiet the mind enough. So we're going to do a little meditation, and we're just going to, just for a minute or two, to get our mind quieted, our body quieted, so we don't feel so scattered.
Mind clutter.
Mind clutter. That's a perfect word for it, Molly. Mind clutter. I like monkey mind too, because it flits from here to there. And, and if you, yeah, that's what I like that word for it. Okay, so if you want to get comfortable and put your feet on the floor, energy flows down through the whole body. If you cross your arms, you stop the energy flow. If you cross your legs, you stop the energy flow. So you need to have your spine straight. If you bend way over, you stop the energy flow. Old people that get so bent as they get older, they're stopping the life force, the energy flow through their body. And so I feel like telling everybody here who's all bent over, stand up straight, let the energy flow. But you don't want to hurt them. But as you get older, the body tends to do that. And you have to work at it to keep it upright and straight. You'll always feel better. All right, so let's go ahead and close our eyes. Sit back in your chair so you're perfectly comfortable. And breathe very slowly in through the roof of your top of your head. Then let the energy flow down through your body and breathe in peace. And breathe out stress. Let it go. Shake your hands or whatever you need to do. Again, breathe in peace and calm. And breathe out stress. One more time. Breathe in peace and calm. And breathe out stress. And just quiet your mind for a minute. And we come together today in Earth's humanity, united in purpose, to clear the path for all to live in peace and harmony through mutual respect, love, compassion, and self-responsibility. Okay? Now that you're at peace, you can open your mind and your heart, and I'll finish the class. Mind can never douse, because if you think something is so, it is so. So if you think you got a hernia and you douse, do I have a hernia? You got a hernia, whether you have one or not, because your mind thinks it. And that's why it's so much easier to douse for other people than for yourself, always. Now, on the map dowsing, there are 3 types of dowsing. What's called first field dowsing, where you take your rods and you stand at the edge of the field and you ask, what are you looking for? We're looking for water today. So you ask, where is going right over there to the pitchers of water, even before I ask. Okay, so you have to put in your third eye what you are looking for. We're looking for water, but we're not just looking for any water. What are we looking for? Drinking water, clean, potable drinking water. And as always, what I'm looking for, it is to my standard of drinking water, which is pretty high. And so that is what you'll get. You'll walk right over a polluted pond. You'll walk right over a stream that's filled with chemicals. You'll walk right over everything that is not what you want until you find that. And if you're at the edge of the field and it shows you the direction, then you hold your rods in that direction and you walk in that direction until the rods respond. Now, some people, it goes like this. For me, it goes like this, and it shows me where the tributary is, right along here. And I love that. I usually step inside the tributary and then I walk and see how big it is to the other side. And it might only be as big as from me to Marley. And it might be as big as this room. Or it might be an aquifer. Or it might be a spring. And that's where you can take your pendulum and find out, what did I find here? If you keep walking, you probably found an aquifer, because the other end might be a mile. Look, in Florida, we have aquifers everywhere. In New Hampshire, we have small, and Vermont, we have small tributaries. And if you don't get the right spot, you don't get the water. And then as a stream flows, it flows like this, just like our veins, and then like this. And if you find it on the upside, you're not going to get enough water. You got to find it on the downside. That's why I step inside the stream and say, and see how big it is. And then I say, where is the best place to drill? If it's deep, they need to drill. Or if it's not, they could use a backhoe.
So at that point, are you using your pendulum when you're asking that question?
I use the pendulum for my questions. Pendulums is for, I didn't figure that. Field dowsing is like being on the spot. Pendulum is for yes and no answers. And remember, that's all you're getting is yes and no. So you have to get really good at asking the question. Because if you're good at asking the question, you can find anything. If you use a double negative, it's going to be confusing and it's probably just going to go really weird. And you're going to say, what's wrong? Ask, what's wrong? Am I asking the right question? And if you've got a double negative, it's going to go, no, you're not.
I
Question?
have first-hand knowledge that Carol has done hundreds of these, literally hundreds in New England. And they're guarantees you'll find water or the money back, and only one person did that of all those people. And when we went to check and ask why, it was because the guy that drills the holes didn't like it, went to somewhere else. That was a mistake.
So I'm sure
Mistakes.
I'm sure you online didn't hear that, but I guarantee my work. And if they don't find it, I give them their money back, except my time to travel. I give them the money back. I always have a fee to find the water and then a little travel time and car time, because that way at least I get maybe $50 or $100, depending on how far I have to go. And so I used to do it for practically nothing. In fact, go in the hole, because sometimes it would take us all day. I didn't know how. So now Google Maps is great. It will tell you how far away, how long it will take, and then you can figure out how much to charge. So this was, I've been doing this for almost 40 years and we didn't have all those GPS and Google Map and cell phones and any of that. So, yeah. And map dowsing is the third type of dowsing. There are different kinds of map dowsing, of course, and your charts that you see in the book I wrote are map dowsing. I have a really interesting one here that you guys will love, and nobody has it anywhere, and I got it years ago and I'm hanging on to it. I got it under plastic. Automobile, what's wrong with my car? Diagnose your car. And on the other side, what does my plants need? Plant. And pH and what my plants need, because I did a lot with gardening. So that's charts along with this kind of chart and the charts that you're going to be dowsing soon. So they're all considered map dowsing. Charts, maps, all that. Anything you're doing that is not on the field is like map dowsing. You can map dowse.
You said this is the third. You said the first one was field dowsing.
Field dowsing,
Was the second one what?
informational dowsing.
Oh,
Yeah, that's to get yes and no. And then the third one is map dowsing. That can include a picture of a person. You can map dowse on a person to see if their chakras are lined up, to see if they're, or I work on a lot of other people and they're all at distance. Because I'm not going to fly to New York and then fly to California. And I've worked on a lot of people in Canada and Mexico and other places. So, I ask them for people when I'm working on things to do with energy fields and so forth, I ask for pictures. So, yeah, or entities, if they have entities in their home, I will ask for a picture of their house. So, an address, of course, yes.
so before you leave the water dowsing, so you were saying there's a point at which the water goes up and down. So what kind of question do you use to
Where is the best place to place the drill or to dig?
Okay, that's the question that gets you to.
That
lowest
gets
point.
you to the lowest point,
Okay,
the
thank
best way. And then you also have to ask people don't like to have to go 3,000 feet or more. They like it close to the house. And so the closest water to the house that would get them enough water to supply their family or the house as long as it's there. They used to say the family as long as they live there, but sometimes they move. And what about the next person coming in? So you might as well say, as long as this property needs water, we need the water.
And that's how you verbalize it in the.
Yes, so you learn to refine and refine what you're putting in your third eye. Yeah. So here's a little frequency chart that I love. And this, I got it upside down. I thought maybe, thank you, Donna. Our planet is all based on frequencies. And they're negative or positive. So if you're doing a house clearing, you can find out whether their energy in the house is negative or positive. It could be they're negative people. And if they're negative people, they draw negative energy to them. Like begets like. If you are up and positive, you attract up and positive people into your life. It's all to do with energy. So, negative energy. What would be a negative energy?
EMF.
You read my mind. Yes. EMFs is a negative energy because they can destroy cells in the body if you get them high enough. And I always work on the electrical field in people's homes. And that's another whole class that you can work on, electrical fields. Isn't that amazing? Electricity was made by man, for man, to serve man. And yet it can be dangerous. But there are ways to work with it. And everything has consciousness. The trees, the grass, you, your cat, the little worm out there running through the ground, everything, even electricity, believe it or not. And if everything has consciousness, you can talk to anything. That probably blow your mind if you're not used to that. But anyway, okay, let's go right on so we can get to the work part. Oops, I already did that. This map is a huge map, and you can take a ruler and you can go down like this and find out, let's say it's this park you're looking for. You would go down like this, and when you hit that park, the pendulum would say yes, that's it.
Nobody has these out, so should we pass these?
Yeah, you can pass those out. You'll need them on that other map when you start doing your own. This is just training right now, and then you're going to do your own maps. Yeah, I have 2 maps for you to dowse. You only got one. The other one I haven't given out yet. Don't want you peeking at it. Okay, so we would stop right there. And then you could go this way across, and then it would stop when you hit that. And where the two cross is the place. That's one way. I don't like that way, but that is one way.
What causes it to stop?
Yeah,
Your energy?
You're asking for a certain park. You don't know where it is.
Okay, gotcha.
You don't have, and you're trying to find it and it isn't labeled.
well, you're using the ruler to find it.
You're using the ruler and you're just using your pendulum and you're bringing down the ruler over the map. And when you get a yes, you can draw a line. And then you go the other way. And when you get a yes, then that's where the spot is. That's one way. That's not the way I do it because I didn't start learning that way and I don't particularly like that way. And if you studied map dowsing with other people, they would teach you probably different, although all similar, but different. Okay, so what I do is I just take the map and I say, is it on this map? Yes, no. If it isn't, I don't want to bother doing the ruler. Why should I? It's not even on the map. Forget it. So then I would just take the map and turn it over. And I would say, is it on this map? Yes. Haha. Okay. Let's fold it in half.
So your pendulum says yes.
Yes, you're just, that's informational dowsing
So
again. And then you'd hold it like this and say, is it on this part? Is it on this part? And you keep narrowing it down. And then you go across it and you find it pretty fast. So that is another way of map dowsing. Yes.
When you're trying to find something somewhere in a country, do you use do you just use a map of the country? Or do you use an atlas that might have each state?
First of all, I find out what continent it's in.
Oh,
And then you want to find out what country it's in. And then what county or province or whatever it's in.
so you would.
Yes, you do. And I think I'll tell you a story now that might help you with that. This gentleman called me up and he had lost his husky. Evidently there was someone stealing husky and selling them to Canada into Alaska for dog racing. And I don't know why they don't just breed them, but evidently they could get a lot of money for huskies. His family had just left him. His wife had gone with the kids and left him his beloved dog. And so someone stole his dog and he was just beside himself. So I dowsed, is the dog nearby? First, no. Is the dog in this state? No. So then I said, did someone take him? Yes. Is he north, south, east, or west? West. Okay, so then I went to the states west. Is he in Pennsylvania? Is he in? And I went through some of the states and I found where the state he was in. When I found the state he was in, then I got a map. I went to AAA and asked for a map of that state. And then when I narrowed it down to the area, then I went to Google Maps. Now you'll see on the map that I gave you, this is from Google Maps. And so you can narrow it down. This is our city right here. This is West Bradenton. And this is a blown up because you're going to find something on this map soon. And so you can use Google Map and you can even get a topographical look at it. So I found it was on this road right about here and I marked it. And he called up the police and they said, there's nothing there. And I thought, oh, maybe I was wrong. So then I went and blew it and blew it and blew it up. And I looked at the road and there was a little dirt road that went into the woods. And in there, I could see a roof. A roof. So I blew it up and blew it up, and it was old abandoned building, all boarded up. And I got the dog was in that building. Very strange. So this was 3 states away from where he lived. He got in his car, he went out there, and he got to the building and he didn't see anything. And I said, and of course, if they steal your dog, they're going to tranquilize them so that they don't bark. So when you hear a dog barking in an abandoned building would go and, yeah. So I said, go out back and see if there's footprints out there because it had snowed just a day or so before. He says, they're all over the place and they're big. They're my dog. I can tell it's my dog. So I said, go to the police. And so he goes to the police and they come to the building. It's all bolted up and padlocked. You can't even look in. The windows are all boarded up. They didn't want to break in. And he begged them and begged them. And he said, what do I do now? What would you do?
Break in.
Right, I would have.
Yeah.
It's my dog, and I had a pirated Dowser, but I couldn't tell him that. I can't tell him to break the law. So I said, use your conscience and do whatever you feel you need to do. Never tell someone to do something like that. He stayed there all night, and in the morning he called me and he said, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I just can't break in. I can't. They know that I'm here. They know that I want my dog. And if I break in, I'm trespassing. And I would think sometime. But if they saw his car there, you see, and this was in the evening when he arrived. So they probably took him out, prints him fresh. And so they probably took him out and fed him and then tranquilized him again. So in the morning he left, and then he wrote me a letter and he said, thank you so much. It was worth every penny hiring you. And I thought, he didn't get his dog. He said, I learned a valuable lesson. And the lesson is, my wife left me. I'm not going to see her or my kids hardly ever. My family is more important than my dog. And so I am going to fight for my family like I fought for my dog. And that just choked me up because I thought, yeah, the family was worth fighting for. And he said, probably I did some things I shouldn't have. I don't know. But she left and she was angry and I have no idea.
So I don't know whether he was gonna go back, get back with his life.
I've got to go. I tried to find that letter and his stuff, and I had so many, I couldn't find it. I was going to bring it. That would have been a good thing to do, Dows, if he got his family back. I just feel in my heart he did, because he learned a lesson that they were worth fighting for. So I felt good about the whole thing, and I was glad because I was really feeling bad. He didn't get his dog and he didn't break in and he wasted his money and I was feeling bad. So anyway, okay. So that also shows you how you find out where they are and then you go to another map or another map, wherever you need to go. Okay, so
That's a good story.
you like that story. Yeah. You will create your own way. Now, I want you to take the map. It's time for you to work. Based on all I've told you, you've got a Google map. And I have found something on here that I want you to find. And hopefully you don't know where it is already, because you'll just say, oh, it's right there. You've got to douse it. Now, I've already brought it bigger, so now you know that it's on the bigger map. So I want you to find the gratitude room. It's a whole building of itself. It's called the gratitude room. I hope you don't know where it is.
Is that the favorite places, Carol? Is that the favorite places map? Is that this map down here?
Yes, yeah, favorite places. Yeah, because I was going to have you find the Asomi Japanese place, because I love that place. But
What's the
it
name
was
of
on the map and I had marked it, so then it's saying favorite place, that's why. Gratitude Room. Yep, well, you can ask if it's on this map. If it is, then is it on the lower map? And then you can divide it in half. Is it on this half? Is it on this half? Or you can use your ruler and do like I said. However you want to do it, but you're going to have to develop your own method.
let's say, gratitude?
Just thought you'd like to see this.
Too small.
Okay.
But leave it now.
Well, it just, it isn't able.
Oh,
It isn't labeled, no.
so
You might want a Dowser that has more of a point, Marley.
I know, I lost my mother's, but I found that practically anything works for me, so.
It does, but if you're trying to find a spot, I have one, I think my husband's has even more of a point.
Well, these are personal.
So on the lower map, and you can take your pen and just mark the spot where the gratitude room is. I hope nobody knows where that is. You know, so
I
that,
don't know what it is.
no wonder you're not doing it. Hmm. They're dowsing their maps right now. What would you like, a ruler?
You don't need that one.
No, I got another one here.
Cortez Road and 75th.
Cortez Road, 75th.
Is that on the map?
I got 26. Street West,
Cortez Road.
33rd.
Is Cortez on the lower map?
Oh.
It's on the bottom map. It's on the top map too, but I've enlarged it to make it easier for you to find on the
Crystal
bottom.
itself is
Hmm?
The crystal itself is actually vibrating.
Wow.
Different.
Avenue. That's what happens.
You can see the vibration. Oh, I can feel it.
That's what happened. My pendulum started going up and down instead of the movement.
But the
Yeah.
vibration, it's, you actually see it. You need to.
Is it over the spot or not?
Uh,
You might want to take your pencil and mark the spot.
Doing the same thing.
Maybe it's a high energy place. I gotta go check this out. I love the name. As you go over your map, you'll get a no until you hit it. And then it will go yes.
Thanksgiving, this time of
Getting a yes.
And a holiday.
Yeah, you can fold it and yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. The north south. 26th and Avenue.
You get very excited
Well, the first time I
Well,
never had,
this will go right up over the arm.
it's going over the bus.
How many think they found it already? I'm going to give you a big, big hint. It's off of 41 business.
Penny and Fred.
Tamiami Trail is the other 41. I was surprised.
It's not around 26th Street, it's on 26th Street.
14th Street
Yeah, that's what I got.
West.
Yeah, that's what's true.
26th Street area and what avenue? It's on 26th Street.
26th Street or Avenue?
Parallel before.
No,
It's not that far.
unless there's another one down there. Could be.
I mean, that's supposed to get in 26th Street.
And there is a 26, around 26th Avenue. That's 26th Avenue. West.
So, I had to even face. I saw 14.
Penny and Fred.
What is it, Carol?
Penny and Fred.
Oh, it's the South Tamiami Trail. It is the Tamiami Trail. That's the south. I didn't realize one's the north.
It's around 26th Avenue West.
That's close.
14 Fred.
26th Street.
20th Street West. Maybe 17th or 20th or something like.
Is that 14?
17th Avenue West and 26th, somewhere between 17th and maybe 23rd. You're getting a yes for that.
How are we doing out there? But you found it. Where's the healing room? I know on 26. But what did you find that? Where did you find this? Gratitude room, not the healing. Isn't that weird? Okay. She was thinking one thing and saying another, and that's confusion.
21st Avenue West.
Very close.
Is it just west? I'm not supposed to say. Oh, that seems like it's.
When you're ready, Carol, I can put a big X where it is and pass it around.
I had it on a paper somewhere, but you can do that. Yeah. Okay, Al's gonna put an X on the spot, but it's just after 21st Avenue West. There's a little mall there that has ice cream in it. 14th Tamiami Trail. Yeah, remember I said it was on 14th? So it's walking distance from here. Okay, well, we're gonna do another map. Hopefully that will be a little easier.
That's the answer, everybody. I'll pass it around.
Yeah, pass it around.
So you can see. And it does take practice, practice, practice. But once you learn it, you are so happy because you can find out all kinds of things.
You know, once it got over that 21st Avenue West, it started jumping.
Didn't both call.
Is that typical?
Could be.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different.
Right. Everybody has a little different reaction. And different people have different yeses.
Yeah.
My yes is yes, like my head and my no. Yeah, okay. Just look at the paper and and see it. We'll go on to the next thing. Does anybody have the time? We don't want to go to.
It's 10 after 4.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to pass out the last map. Before I do, I want to show you how I keep records. And you will see in that book that's on the table, always have my name, my phone number, my address, and I write down what type of dowsing I'm doing, a comment, the date, phone number, so I can get back to them if I have to. And then if it's water dowsing, I will mention one. I always get 2 spots because a rig might not be able to get to one spot. In New England, we have hills. One was on a hill. And I thought, oh my gosh, is the rig gonna fall over? Sure enough, they couldn't. The best spot was on the hill. So I found another one on the same tributary, because many times the second spot will be on the same tributary, just further down. So you can write that down. Then I always write a diagram to show them their house, where it is in relation, or I will take the back and do it. And here's my last job. Okay, so I have these made up, so it's easy. I just grab one. When somebody has a job, I just grab one, I put it on my clipboard, put my pen in it, and off I go. So it's very important. And my tools, which I used to have packed all the time. Yes.
You've all seen the answer. Did anybody get it right?
She got it right. Finally. And didn't you get it right? Yeah. So a couple people did. But don't be discouraged. Just practice. Practice the things you know where are, and then things that you don't know where it is. And you can work on your own body. Go through your chakras and see if they're lined up and moving the way they're supposed to. Check your aura out. Do I have any holes? Do I need to do some repair? Is it lopsided? Maybe you walk around and if it is, you can correct it. So, okay. So now I have the last map. And who's going to pass that out? I got to keep a copy for me. All right. This is where we're going next. We're going to go out in the garden.
What tool we taking?
L rods and pendulum. I do with the L rods. Oh, I won't need them. I'm gonna. You want to hang on to it to do it out there? Carnelian. It's a carnelian. Orange carnelian. Yeah. Thank you. If you want to learn more about map dowsing, you go on my site, www.dowsingwebinars.com, and you can learn more. And I forgot, we had another sheet there that we forgot to go through. You have a copy of it? Do I have a copy of it? Could you give me a copy?
Yeah, which you
You mean the one we just passed?
That one on the water dowsing. Yeah, I would just like to do a few pointers on the water dowsing thing. So I need a, yeah, no. Can I have that, Sasha? And you can have it back after. Just look at his. Okay. I know some of you really are interested in water dowsing, and I know Bert is wanting to learn. And that's, as water gets more and more scarce, that is going to be a problem. So we're going to end up with water dowsing, and we're going out and find the water in a minute. But follow along.
Excuse me. Got it.
I don't want to have to yell. I know you're all excited and yak. Okay. Records are important. That's on there. Dowsing needs to be clear and true with no influence of thought forms, preconditioned, or undermining anomalies. First, it has to be within the borders of the property and meeting all requirements of the setback. So if you are going to water douse and you're going to water douse in Florida, you've got to find out the state rules from Florida, how far from the border, how far from the septic, so forth. You can't go under a driveway. I can't be under the house or too close to the house. It's got to be a distance away from any pollution, including ponds, wetlands, and of course the septic. And usually it has to be 100 feet from the septic. It has to be outside the footprint of the house, not under the driveway or parking area. Underground water has to be willing to come for the family. And I would always ask, but I never got no until finally, quite a few years after I had done it, I got a no. And I have learned to map douse before I even go on the job, because if I map douse first, it makes it quicker when I get there. I don't have to spend a half a day. Just a minute, I got to finish my thought. When we finally got there, and remember, I got no, it wouldn't come. I found one right next to the barn. They couldn't use it. So I had to find another one. The one next to the farm had 8 gallons per minute. The one I had to find elsewhere only had 4. And it's a farm. They could use a lot of water. So when I got there and drove into their yard, I looked down the field and there's this huge dairy farm just below this one. So I got out my pendulum. Are they using the same source? That's why if you tap into a source that someone else is using, is there enough for both families? Well drillers never think that. And I've seen in new developments where they're still developing beyond where a person lives, all of a sudden their well goes dry because they found a well over here for this guy, the same source, and their well went dry. So it's very important you ask. The only other time I got a no, only twice. The other time I got a no was on a hillside. And back in the 1800s, they would will or deed wells for different families in the community. A deeded well where there was a lot of water and other places there wasn't. So families had their own well on this hillside. And they were all deeded. And so I asked the owner, have you checked all the families? She said, I went to the town records. I checked all the families and there are none. You're going to have to find a new one, which I had trouble doing with enough gallons per minute for them. So finally I said, is there any? And it was further up the hill, and it could come down centrifugal force, which would be perfect. They wouldn't even need electric. So I said, well, we'll go find it. And I get there. It's already a well. It's hidden under a bunch of brush. I was praying it wasn't under that pile of brush, and sure enough. So we pulled the brush off, and there is this beautiful stone round thing. It was a well. So I doused if it would be the source, and I got no. Nobody's using it. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's hidden. I could not figure it out. Does anybody alive have access to this well? No. What is wrong? And I just couldn't let her have the well and it's on her property. All the wells were, but they were all deeded to other people. So I finally, something popped into my head the way intuition does. Is there an entity stationed over this? Because they had protected it with all the boughs and trees and everything. Is there an entity over this well protecting it? I got a yes. So I asked if the entity would be willing to leave and let this family have the well. No. Now what? So I finally talked, remember you can talk to anything. I said, you know, there's no one alive who's using this well. You were stationed here for a purpose. Thank you. That was wonderful. You protected this well all these years, but no one's using it anymore. And here's a family of 4 kids and a mother and a father who are living on this property, and they need water. Would you please give permission or leave and go on to your evolutionary journey? I always tell them about, all this wonderful stuff they can grow into. And then I asked, and I got a reluctant yes. So she's looking at me like I had horns. But you learn what you learn. So that night, something happened. I'm not going to tell you till the next morning. She calls me up and she says, it's real. I said, what's real? She said, last night I'm in my bed and I heard this very loud noise. And I thought, what is that? And then I heard it again, and as it faded and faded till it was gone. And then I thought of what you did, and I realized that entity left. And thank you.
I'm confused with.
It's a spirit that's on the other side of the veil that is asked to come like an angel
Okay.
to protect the well. We have angels. You believe in angels? Yeah. In the back days, they used to do a lot of this sort of thing. We forgot about it today. We just hardly do anything like that today. But anyway, so I got the water for her. But you run into things that you've never run into before, and you learn stuff about things that you never knew before. So it's really fun. So go to my website if you want. I have all kinds of classes there, and you can take the water or the map. They're separate classes. It's on your sheet. It should be on the bottom of this sheet on the water. And you can read that through. I think I won't take any more time, but those are the questions you need to ask if you're going to do any water dowsing. Okay. All right. So now the new map. Here's where the fun begins. Yes, that's yours.
I have notes coming back.
Oh, well, it's yours. I hope there's one left because I brought them all. So, okay. This is a picture of the map of the gardens, the butterfly gardens I told you about in the beginning. They're accessed only through this building. You can't get out there any other way but through this building. So we are going to enter where it says ramp from the building. And you are going to find the water bottle. I hid a water bottle out there. It's not very hidden, but at least as you come in, you won't see it. But I want you to find it on the map first and mark it on the map. And then go out. And if you're not sure, take your rods and go out there and use your rods. It's easier when you're on the field to find something than on a map. So if you can't do it this way, we'll do it the other way. You found some more. Thank you. Thank you. Did everybody get a copy of Dowsing for a Well site?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my information's on the back of my website. If you haven't been there, I have a lot of free stuff there. And I have stories. None of these stories are that I told you today are in there, but a lot of other stories, finding things and map and water dowsing are in there. And testimonies.
Can you elaborate? The woman heard a noise that night of the entity. Was it in her room or she heard it outside?
Outside. But it was very loud, and she said she sat her right up in bed, and she was very frightened. And she thought, what is that? And as she realized that it might be that, she talked to it too. I didn't add that. And said, it's okay, you can leave, and thank you. Because we always must be appreciative of someone else's work. Someone spent the time and did the ceremony to bring that protection to their well. And you always got to honor that. It's important. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm going to turn this off because we're going to go out and find the water bottle in the butterfly garden. So how do I turn this off? I'm not taking this out there. You'll have to edit. I hope you know how to edit.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do the editing.
Thank you so much. You'll have to take out the places where we were. The long pauses and maybe the
Stop recording. Stop.